like to thank you all for coming here today. The Carter family and the Gallagher family, we appreciate y'all being here today. And, my brother, Tim.
Well, I'm going to use this or not. Bear with me. As Tom said, I want to thank everybody for being here. The support we've gotten has been overwhelming and hard to describe. We've been asked about it, and I just want to let everybody know that Molly did pass of a aortic aneurysm. It was pretty quick. Okay, more or less, contagious thing. I also wanted to bring up a few people who we call Team Molly. From the past, without the support, they can breathe. Nice. Lisa Miller, Katie Smith, Shannon Trevor. Thank you so much. It doesn't tell you. Thank you so much to me. Thank you. I wrote something for Molly. If you guys after she passed, but I'm not even going to try to read it because that won't work. So Andrew Carter is going to help me out. Thank you very much. Again, touch everybody's time.
Thank you. Fortunately, I've read through this a few different times now, so I'm going to try to put it together for Tim, because that's the best thing to do. Before I even start, I want to say it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever read. It was truly from his heart, and all of us who knew and loved Molly will appreciate every one of these words, and I'm very honored to step into these shoes to share this with you today. We met at Menards because I was proposed at a Bemidji bar. Our parents met at the Lavender Inn in Fairville. They were polar opposites of each other, much like us. But they could see the happiness in our eyes, and I believe we all left with big smiles. Getting to know the Gallaghers was initially daunting. Right from the start, it was clear Molly was the apple in all of their eyes. I had to mind my P's and Q's because I knew acceptance was not easily bestowed. I'm not going to speak for them, but my love for Molly was the key to getting in. My last name is Carter, but I'm also darn proud to be a Gallagher. Planning a wedding was a breeze because all Molly wanted to do was put our guests at ease. There's never been a more beautiful bride, and saying I do made me cry. Our wedding reception was a blur with the formality and timing being afterthoughts. I do recall organizing a posse to get Molly and the groomsmen back to the venue. And please don't ask me what was on the menu. Our guests were amazing and we didn't want it to end, but we had a home to move into, so off we went. We settled in Fire Lake and began our work careers in earnest. Our discussions regarding work were limited, but I can tell you, Molly excelled. She was an HR guru, and the companies she worked for were oh so lucky to have her, as are all the people she worked with and hired. Our Wasika parties are legendary. The time spent at the resort called Brookside a blast. Playing softball with friends in the sun, a cruise on the Caribbean, and several Christmases in the desert. My parents moved to Carolina, and going to the white sandy beaches was her pleasure. She traveled to Europe with Shannon and couldn't wait to tell us all about it. The photos we took are stowed away, but I have glorious memories of Molly at play. Molly asked if we could speak in the kitchen, and her tone made me nervous. This must be serious, I thought, so I began to think of all the things I could have done wrong. It's time to start a family, she said, and my reaction was guarded. Why now, I thought. We were living so free and easy. Our decision-making was always a partnership. But after looking into those beautiful eyes, I knew she had me pinned. Looking back, I questioned myself for being so coy because the two wonderful lives we created bring us overwhelming joy. I don't think Molly would object when I say she wasn't a great athlete. In fact, watching her swing a golf club was painful. But beneath that always present smile burned a highly competitive drive. She took the coaching like a fish to water, and volleyball became a passion. Her team's winning percentages were probably 500, but her preparation, knowledge of the game, and genuine caring for her players was Hall of Fame level. She loved sharing her critique of how the team played, and if she saw improvement, it made her day. What a great legacy to leave, and I'm sure all the players she coached would agree. Our home is nice, but not a palace. Our furniture is worn, and there are weeds in the lawn. To Molly, those types of things are trivial. Being a loving mother, caring for our pets, nursing me through my odd afflictions like the hiccups, and keeping in touch with relatives and family and friends were always the priority. What has occurred is tremendously unfair. A genuinely good person has been taken away, but the thought of a world without Molly would be far worse. The affection people feel for her is a testament of a life well lived. We will all move forward, but something will always be missing. But having Molly in our hearts is the gift that keeps on giving. I sometimes hear a song and think how cool it would have been to have written and performed it. Unfortunately, I have no music ability and can't even hum a few bars in the shower. I hadn't even finished hearing the song we're about to hear and immediately knew this was it. A song that was so deeply expresses the love I have for my adoring wife, Molly. I love you, Mom.
So, Tim, Molly is good at started playing. No, that's okay. So to that end, I would just like to say that I believe Caitlin had not you. I believe Molly had the best hair of all of us. She had 80s hair every year of her life. Can you hear me without the microphone?
Nope, use the mic.
Use the mic so you can, okay. I was gonna go with first. And I think our relationship with people often depends on how we see them rather than how we expect them to react. So that's my little theme. Mom used to tell the story about how when Molly was born, the younger of my two sisters, and she went through the front door, and she said, my reaction was, but Mom, we have one of those. Why can't we have a puppy now? That first reaction was not much to be proud of. The other first was from my wife who grew up in the Mediterranean. and didn't know English when she came here. And which she said, you gotta tell everybody how much I appreciate how Molly treated me. And she said, we would go to her house and she always said, come to my garden, I have tomatoes and peppers. We're Mediterranean diet, right? Was the best. I so appreciated that she paid attention to me and offered me food. So,
the one story I really talk about is one time Molly and Tim and Dana came to my place in Phoenix. We were always playing these plays. And Molly and I loved these places. Kiss Me on the Bus. And we were playing it. And she came in, she just started singing and dancing and got out of it and flying. So good, Molly's good stuff.
I just want to add to Sean's story. I remember the day she was born. Now you remember the hospital window at Mom saying that. So I am last because I've been trying to think of something to say. My family is going to say you have to say something that people can hear about. And at one and the same time, I can think of everything, and at the same time, I can think of anything. So, I'll say two things. One, the thing I remember has absolutely no connection to anything that is funny in my head now. And that is, I don't know where Tim and Sean were, but the four of us younger ones were racing around the house on our hands and knees from one room to another to do a circle around the house. And people won't know this, but in our family, we never ever broke anything. I don't know why we didn't break anything. There were six of us running around crazy. We never ever broke anything. But this night, when Mom and Dad were out, and you guys were, I put Molly's head through a lead pane window. In the she got cut or anything, but we were terrified, not because of Molly's head. That's the one that I remember, no connection. The other thing is Molly was 57. I was talking to a colleague of mine about a week ago who was about the same age as I am, and I said, my mom died at 56. And I think we've all made it. Sorry, Brent, I don't know the number.
I'm there.
Okay, so we all made it 56, and it seemed like there was no one else. And this is awful. We shouldn't be here today. And I know everybody feels bad and is looking for an explanation. The thing I remember is that when my mom died, I always felt like she understood everything. And I didn't need to say anything. I didn't have to worry about not having said something or say something I shouldn't have. And I suspect, based on everything I've seen today and talk to people, that with Molly was the same way. You don't have to feel bad about what we didn't say or want to say because she knew.
For those of you who don't know me, which is probably 95% of the people in this room, when you talk about your oldest friend in the entire world, I don't remember seriously a time when Molly and I were not friends. It started way before kindergarten. And there were people, even growing up in school, the teachers would confuse us because we were always together. He was truly my oldest friend. And when they asked if we'd talk, I said, well, how much time do we have? 5 minutes. And it's like, how do you wrap up over 50 years of friendship in 5 minutes? And I'm just gonna tell one little story, and the poor family has heard this probably 15 times in the last 2 days. But it just shows what a big heart Molly was. Molly could never stay mad at anyone. And when we were little, I couldn't say Molly. I said Molly. And she was always Molly Gallagher. And when we finally got to school in first grade and we were finally in the same grade, we knew each other from the Irish American Club and our parents were friends and the whole 9 yards. But every time I saw Molly, I had to hug her. And I knew it just irritated the hell out of her. And she did. She finally said one day, my name is Molly. Quit hugging me. But she went on to hug me for years. And even though we lived a state away, we didn't always see each other. It was like yesterday when I talked to her again. And there were many times I could go on story after story. But my senior year of high school was a difficult year for me with my own family experiences. And during the school year, I was a farm kid. Molly lived right there on State Street. I stayed overnight at her house at least 4 out of 5 nights during the school year, and I am not exaggerating. I would wear Molly's clothes to school. I had my own toothbrush there. But Molly saw me through some of the worst times in my life. And she and Megan would show up for the funerals, for everything. Molly and Dana showed up to my mom and dad's 75th birthday. My mom's 75th birthday, I didn't even go. That's the kind of friend she was with my family. She had the biggest heart in the world, and obviously just could not contain as much love as she had. We're all going to miss her, Tim, who loved her so much.
When Jerry went home on Thursday night, I guess I moved in on the weekend for our senior year. I'm Dana Harmon, and when I met Molly in 1977, when I moved to Waseca, I became part Irish, I think, and I remember walking in the parades and hanging with my Irish friends, so I'll be ever grateful. But I guess I just want to say that you're lucky in your life. You have a friend like Molly, and I never had sisters. So throughout the years, there's lots of good stories, the young years, but I guess I'm grateful that most of our adult life, after marriage and kids and college and all that good stuff, there's always been about 2,500 miles between us, and it feels like we've never missed a beat. So over all the years when Tim and the kids would come through to see Tony and Andrea, they'd always stop and hike. Whenever I came to Minnesota to see my family, Molly didn't drop a beat, and we had breakfast, and we always hung out. And I know Shanna, we got to spend some time in January in Arizona at my home, and a typical time with Molly, there was food and wine, and Shanna decided to go to bed a little early that night, and Molly and I stayed up on the patio listening to music and talking like we always did our entire life. And the next morning I'd still laugh because Shanna had gone to bed, and somehow there was a bottle of wine missing that we swore we shared with Shanna. So those were the times. And I hope Shanna and Tim and Trevor and you continue to come to Arizona, and I will see you when I come back here. But the friendship lasts a lifetime. And I know when I was packing to come here, I know Molly would want the party to go on. And I do believe in signs. And I went to move my bag as I was packing, and a dime fell off my bag onto my floor, and there was just no reason for a dime to be there. So I know Molly's looking out for us. And I love you guys, and thank you.
I'm Christy Rosenhammer, and I have the honor of being Molly's college roommate for 3 out of the 4 years she was at St. John's. Before our freshman year, we decided that it would be a good idea to meet up at the state fair and get to know each other a little before school started. At one point, we were walking around the state fair and she asked, "So do you like to party?" And I guess I paused just long enough for her to say, "And if you don't, that's okay." Can't you just hear her saying? The look on my face probably registered a little concern about the prospect of having heard it for a room. But I quickly learned that my thoughts about Molly being a stereotypical party girl were all wrong. Molly cared about her classes and her studying. She had a super strong work ethic. She often had 2 jobs in college, in addition to being a full-time college student. For Molly, it was all about connecting with people. She genuinely cared for people. She was always checking in with us. She was just so awesome at bringing people together. Yeah. A couple summers ago, my husband Dave and I invited Molly and Tim to join us in a golf tournament in New Orleans. Fortunately for Molly and I, it was best ball. When it became apparent that we were not the best golfers and we were not women's PGA material, Molly says, "Well, we may not be the best golfers, but we're going to have the most fun today." And we did. Life was fun with Molly. It was fun because she was joyful, positive, and genuine.
Hi, I'm Michelle Temke, and I also want to thank Molly. I first met Molly at St. Ben's, and one of my favorite memories is of her driving down the road in St. Joe with her hair screaming out for someone. Once I met her, it seemed like she was everywhere, walking across campus, working at the law, working at the grocery store, and always drinking positivity wherever she went. When Molly was around, we could always count on food and fun, but there were 2 other fundamentals that were always present as well. Come as you are and be yourself. She was welcoming and accepting to all, and she had a special gift for merging her different worlds. She had boundless energy, and I'm convinced that the Energizer Bunny was modeled after her. Every time we got together, it was a triathlon of activities. When you ran a 5K with Molly, you didn't just run the race. You got up at 5 a.m. and you volunteered for registration, and then you met friends afterwards for brunch. Even making Christmas cookies could be a multi-day affair with many other activities woven in. She lived her life in multiples. If one was good, 2 or more were better. If she liked her black shoes, she would go back and get the brown and black, or the brown and blue ones as well. I used to run the Edmund Fitzgerald Ultra Marathon Relay every fall. One team had always been plenty, but when Molly joined in, suddenly we had 2 full teams. I have so many wonderful memories. Summer weekend parties at Wasika, last call at Bennigan's, the Twin Cities Marathon, making mints for her wedding, the middle-aged Olympics, rec volleyball for pickles, planting lilies in her yard, her earth boxes full of vegetables, going out on the boat, many runs through the neighborhoods of Prior Lake for cats, girls' weekends, and too many St. Patrick's days to count. It's so hard to accept that she's gone, but there's comfort in knowing that her spirit lives on in all of the lives she's touched. I'm Julie Bree Larson, and I'm with Molly for 39 years. I have known Molly for 39 years. I first met Molly with that fabulous smile, and those sparkling eyes, and that head full of beautiful curly blonde hair. My first day of college, Christy and Molly
just lived down the hallway of the freshman door. We were all roommates our junior and senior years, and Molly was never about drama, but she was always about fun. She made everything fun and easy, and like Michelle said, she just merged groups of people that would never work well together. Our lifelong bond cemented when my brother Chuck married her sister Megan. A few years after college, our lives turned upside down. Each of us lost one of our parents, and we went through that together. Then we went through our weddings together, went through having kids together. My kid called her Aunt Molly because she was Aunt Molly. He was always getting our group together and the families together. We shared family holidays, annual Christmas, cookie bakes, vacations, trips to the North Shore for team race, the Edmund Fitz, and later years, late winter hot chocolate road race that helped feed Molly's smoldering competitive nature. Was I blessed to know Molly? Absolutely, but no more blessed than each one of you, because Molly made a difference in all of our lives. 39 years, 39 months, 39 weeks, we all got the same Molly. She accepted you for who you were. I have a friend at home who says, a stranger is just a friend who you haven't met yet. And that's Molly's motto. She made every stranger a friend. She made us all better people. Hopefully we can follow her lead, stay positive, laugh more, volunteer more, invite others into your lives, and live in the moment. Love you, Molly.
I'm Mom Brown, and I met Tyler Gallagher about 25 years ago. We started at the new daycare. Brother and I were people at that time. So I just had really good memories with Molly. She was lots of walking and talking, and she's always great with her, and always so positive. Ran some of those 5K hot chocolate races together as well. The nasty line for memories too about Molly, who reminded me all. Molly made the best mac and cheese. I don't know why, that has tell me how Molly makes it, and I could never get it ready. And just like that. Molly was always so inviting, especially when we were hanging out on the boat. At parks, Trevor and Ryan from baseball and basketball. Getting those kids ready and all bumped up to go sledding at the park, and then 10 minutes later, oh, we're done. But yeah, Molly's enthusiasm and energy makes everything fun. How to get through this. I'm pretty tired. I never thought I would be here today. I want to speak about my gift from Molly. Without her being here and hearing her precious laugh, I was just like today, I speak with her watching volleyball or taking Hemi on a walk with her. Better yet, drinking margaritas and eating chips. That's what Aunt Cree says. We've all suffered the most incredible loss. I know it's a cliche, when someone dies, oh my gosh, they're the nicest person that ever lived. But let me tell you, Molly was truly a gift from heaven. We're here on this earth to share her talents and her love of life, even though it was shorter than we could have ever imagined.
would ever be. We are so much better for having Molly in our life. By her quiet demeanor, Molly taught us all the true values of life. By her acts of love, her acts of compassion, her endless acts of support. Molly was such a bright and bubbly person who was so proud of her family whenever it was, whether it was Tim's golf game invention, Trevor's baseball hit, or Shanna's awesome serve. She shared her love for her family every time we got together. Molly was one of the first people I met when we moved to Prior Lake 15 years ago. We had this instant connection right away as we were both working moms, trying to put our work hours in so we could rush home to take our kids to the activity. We also shared a connection of sports, especially volleyball. I can still remember the day Molly said she wanted to be a volleyball coach for M1. I was like, that takes a lot of guts. That is one of the premier volleyball programs in the state. At that time, I was only familiar with the old volleyball terms, bump, set, spike. So Molly was the one who taught me that spiking is now called hitting. And there's such a position called a libero. And as you know, whatever Molly set her mind out to do, she did it at 150% or more. When she decided to become a volleyball coach, she studied the game of volleyball with a vengeance. She never stopped learning and she studied the sport extensively. Not only as to show how to be a good coach, but also how to teach Shanna to excel in the sport. And boy, did Shanna learn quickly from playing on the little St. Mike's teams to the M1 club teams, to the Prior Lake varsity teams, and then off to college to W. Stevens Point. And now you're a coach at Lakeville South. Molly sure taught you well. And as Tom Schneider said, we coached with Molly at St. Mike's. Molly had such passion in teaching and coaching, not only Shanna, but all the girls in volleyball. She would do anything to help them and guide the team in the most positive way. Tom said he had coached a lot of sports over the years, but the years coaching with Molly were the most memorable and enjoyable as a coach. Molly had earned the respect of her players and only wanted her players to improve, while of course winning was secretly what she wanted. I admired her so much for the drive and compassion that she had for the players. I also knew Molly through our daughters, Shanna and Allison. We shared our concerns about raising them from young girls to adulthood. And there was a time when Molly and Tim took family vacation with Trevor and Shanna and brought my daughter Allison with them to Sunset Beach, North Carolina, to visit Tim's parents. While they were in North Carolina, Molly took Shanna and Allison to the University of North Carolina for a campus visit. And when they got back from their trip, Molly had to share that my daughter Allison raised her hand during the college visit and asked the college guy, "Who does your laundry in college?" So hard, crying, she told me as I stood there mortified. Dear Lord, did I really raise my daughter? Just recently, Molly and I went to a movie on the cheap movie night with here in Minnesota Tuesday. And when we got to the theater, it was a madhouse. There was people everywhere, and we were starving, and we both loved popcorn. But realized we were never going to be able to make it to the movie on time because we had to wait in that stupid long concession line. So good old Molly, as smart and intuitive as she was, she said, "Let's go to the bar," and order some beers from those guys, and sweet talk the bar employees into getting us some popcorn. It worked so well that we had time for 2 beers. Molly was a constant volunteer. She never hesitated to step up and never complained about doing it. From volunteering to making that 8th grade graduation book, remember that all over your house? When no one else would step up, to being a scorekeeper at baseball or volleyball, to singing in the St. Mike's choir, helping with high school senior night entertainment committee, and thank God she was there,
And of course, all the time she put in as a coach. It's so incredibly difficult and tragic to lose Molly at such a young age, especially for you to understand her. But what Molly did in a short life, 57 years, will turn to be forever. All those amazing talents and kind and generous personality traits from Molly will live in you. I have already seen it. Some people will go through this life never knowing what true love is for a spouse, and never receiving the utmost unconditional love from a mother. But know that in a short time, she was here. I wish I could take all the pain and suffering away from you. But in the words of A.A. Milne, who wrote Winnie the Pooh, and I know Molly's spirit is telling you this also, Tim, Trevor, and Shanna. If there ever is tomorrow when we're not together, there is something you must always remember. You are braver than you believe, you're stronger than you seem, and you're smarter than you think. But the most important thing is, even if we're apart, I will always be with you. I'm so honored and truly blessed to have had Molly as my dear friend. I've lost my friend. I've lost Tim's beautiful wife. And Trevor and Shanna's most loving and great mother. But in the end, we aren't going to remember them with beautiful face, body. But we will remember the most beautiful heart and soul of Molly.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Chuck Green. I'm Megan's husband, Molly's one sister. And just a reflection on the evening of talks, and I really appreciate when you put those words together. I mean, so poetic from the heart. From the Gallagher brothers, I mean, that's so touching to hear you guys up here talking about Molly, hearing Dana, you know, so much history and love, and you held back on some of the party stories. Very good. I thought they were coming out. It showed some real good respect. But Christy and Julian and Michelle too. Those are the years that we were in college together, and I saw that and felt that. And every time I hear songs from the 80s, that was super hard for me to get through. But Rhonda and Vicki, you could hear from their words what she's been up to lately. So, so just really appreciate everybody's comments tonight and what they have to say. But you know, because everybody here loved Molly so much, and you know, for Trevor and Tim, it's just it doesn't make sense. You know, it's unbelievable thing. And stupid was the word that you're not supposed to say stupid. You know, I know, don't say stupid, but I think when we all heard this, it's stupid, you know, that we're even here tonight. So, you know, trying to make sense of this, and especially, you know, when you know, we talked about, you know, the different types of deaths, you know, to have Bernadette have cancer so long, to be with Molly, and they're going to go through that, and then have Larry die so fast, and just neither one of them are good when you die young like that. Neither one of them are good, but you try to say, you know, what about this sentinel event? And it truly is one of the absolute top events of my life. You know, it will be for so many of us. How do we make sense out of this? How does this, you know, make any sense? Where with this tragedy, can there be opportunities? And you feel it already. And Tim, you were talking about it, neighbors and other people that have been coming up to you that you haven't really maybe had a chance to talk to us. You feel that flood of love. You feel that relationships opening. And I know when we've gone through things too, you look back, you'd never wish this on anyone. But when you do, you know, there is some hope there. And that's the one grace of this world, is that we do know in the end who wins. And Molly does have that faith. They have that faith. And I think that's, you know, what we cling to. And, you know, Christ was the one example of somebody that wasn't here very long. But when he was, he spread the love and he made life better for everyone. And so I think our challenge when we go through this tonight is we all think about it tonight, you know, okay, what is that challenge? How can I spread the love? How can I make life better for people around me? because Molly sure did. So we just asked if you could say the Lord's Prayer together. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
Throw that in there because Catholics use that to weed out the, Protestants and Lutherans. So with every good Gallagher funeral, we gotta sing the song. This is the one that will get most all of the Gallaghers and everybody rocking. So if everybody does have a chance in your program, if you could join us, or